Welcome back to Fake Monday, everybody. Hopefully you had a good long weekend. Did you enjoy your time away from the keyboard, Mr. Thurrott?
Well, most of this didn't appear on the site, but I actually spent most of the long weekend working. I've been updating the book for
Mm.
1809. I'm going to write something about this today. I Most of that time was spent on the Edge chapter, which is really long. I haven't looked this up, but it's probably the longest chapter in the book. It's over 10,000 words.
Wow.
Yeah, and to be clear, the book is not like this is how you pick up a mouse. This is how you make a new tab in Edge. Like I assume that people know how to use Windows, for the book, and then for the Edge chapter, I assume you know how to use a web browser. So there's no introductory material per se, but what I focus on is the stuff that's either unique or different in Edge. And
Hmm.
because they add new features every version, it's kind of a growing body of stuff.
Sure.
And Edge is really interesting on a number of levels. They have all these learning tools, which have expanded dramatically in this latest version, that work across web pages, PDF files, EPUB documents, and ebook. Well, ebooks, maybe they're not ebooks. I don't remember, but they're presented a little bit differently in each one, and they're also presented incorrectly in my mind in this version. They kind of split them up into three different places. It's really strange, but I have this thing in my head about Edge, like how Edge in many ways encapsulates the problem with Windows 10. It's full of inconsistencies,
Yeah.
It's a little too much in areas where it doesn't need to be, but it still doesn't kind of nail the basics, and it's, I am trying to figure out how to write what I just described better, if that makes sense. But it was really interesting to me. It's not going to be, I don't know. This is one of those things like I kind of obsess over, and I bet no one else cares. But I just found it's interesting to me what they've done to Edge in this version.
Hmm.
It's interesting to me what they haven't done. For example, the ebook stores are EPUB files that are protected with some kind of DRM. You can buy or get free books from the store. You'll store them in a collection in Edge. You can read and even do many more things with non-protected EPUB files, like the ones you might download from Microsoft or whatever, but you can't put them into your collection. You can't add those to the ebooks, to your ebook library and then sync them between all your devices. There's a workaround. You can put them in your reading list, and then they will sync to all your devices, I suppose. I don't think it retains maybe it does. I haven't tested this, but I don't think it retains your reading, your position in the book, because it doesn't really, think of it as a book. But
Yeah.
yeah, I don't, I really struggled with Edge this weekend, I think I'm trying to say, because it's one of those things I really want to like, and it does some things that other browsers don't do. There's no doubt about it. But it also is just kind of weird and convoluted and full of extra stuff, and I don't quite understand the point of it in many ways. I don't know. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
The nice
How was
thing
your
is-
weekend, Brad?
Yeah,
Sorry.
I was going to say, the nice thing is if you're writing a book about Skype, you could delete everything that happened in 2017 because they're backtracking on all that stuff, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
For those who aren't aware of that subtle but hilarious reference, Microsoft is undoing everything they pretty much did in 2017. They're getting rid of moments. They're getting rid of the subtle gradients they added. They're getting rid of all the crap that nobody wanted or asked for in an attempt to try to update and modernize Skype. And basically what they did, which Skype is very good at, is lost an entire year of development time, which they've done multiple times, just launching apps and killing them over and over again. So,
Yeah, that's true.
It's 2016 in Skype land yet again. It really is.
Are they getting rid of those animated squigglies, like, when someone's typing?
It wouldn't surprise me, but
Yeah.
I know they're definitely getting rid of moments. They're definitely getting rid of. They're toning down the gradient, as they said, and they're getting rid of some other crap and just simplifying the app because people just want it to work, and that's really it.
Yeah, God forbid. I can't remember if I saw this in the mobile app. No, actually, it's funny. The mobile app doesn't look particularly new to me. I don't know, whatever.
Because they're getting rid of the junk.
Yeah. I had a conversation with you recently on Skype, and we were in I was in the mobile app somewhere. I don't remember if it was a phone or whatever, but there's there's a little heartbeat thing that happens. And it just never kind of goes away.
Yeah.
And man, I got to tell you, I really value not being distracted at certain points. And there's something about that little thing, because it could be over the corner.
Because you know it's coming. You know it's coming.
And it's just sitting there, and you're like, okay, is he going to type something? Okay.
Yep. Or is a cat on the keyboard?
Is he okay. And then I think the modern one, I think there's something that sits there even if you're not really typing anything. You're just
looking
we're
at
just
it.
in the conversation. Yeah. I don't know. It's really, I just find it to be distracting.
Yeah, that's what Do Not Disturb is for. It is somewhat helpful.
Well, but Skype lacks some pretty basic functionality around that kind of thing, right? So you and I are in a call, and what does it do, if anything? I'm in the old thing. It doesn't. I mean, you're available.
Yeah,
one of the ways in which this thing can be smarter than a phone call is to say, to kind of alert people to the fact that you shouldn't be disturbed right now.
Yeah.
Or it's like Brad is literally engaging in a video chat.
Yes, it should have a custom status that says ongoing call or whatever. Yeah. That way, when Tim, as per usual, messages us right at 11 a.m., he will know that we are actually on a call. Yeah.
Yeah, we still do a podcast every day at 11. Thanks for chiming in again as you do at that exact moment.
He's going to delete the sites.
Well, I mean, it should have a thing. Well, so in other words, someone like Tim, like you should be able to specify people who are important to you. Tim would be one of those people.
Yep.
And he could actually get a pop-up that says, hey, Brad and Paul, or Brad, which one of us, whoever he contacted, is literally engaged in a video chat right now. Is this an emergency?
Right.
And then he could break through at that point. Other people would just get sorry, they can't be disturbed right now. Your message will be delivered, This would be so much more useful than little squiggly lines and moments and other Snapchatty nonsense. Like, I don't know. Maybe I just approach this thing from the perspective of an adult. I don't know.
Yeah.
Be useful, do no harm, do good, that kind of thing. Use your superpowers for good, not for stupid.
Yeah, I just had a real weird epiphany, and we're just going to go down this bent anyways. So see this nice shirt I'm wearing? I'm sure this is a store that everyone on the planet has heard of, but I had never heard of it until I walked into it like 3 weeks ago, called H&M.
Yes.
This polo was $11.99.
Nice.
Yeah, and it fits great. And I bought a bunch of shirts there that were like $9. Like,
the stupid piece of crap cost $25, and I hate it.
Yeah, like I'm honestly tempted after the show just to go on their website and order like 35 of
never
these.
Think about this again.
Yeah.
Arrange them by color in a closet somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's nice.
I do that. So I have more often regretted not doing what you're describing, but I have very occasionally done what you're describing. So, for example, I have trouble with shoes because I have wide feet, and often shoes don't come in widths, but when they do.
And I almost just said a thick head, but go on.
Yeah, hats are actually a huge problem. They really are, actually. But, I'll buy every once in a while, I get a shoe that I actually really like. And some months into it, I'll be like, oh, man, I got to get another one of these things because obviously they're going to wear out. And, and then I go back to get them again and they're gone. They don't make those anymore. They make something different. And it's always really frustrating to me. But I found, actually, I have them here. So I don't know if we've discussed this, the $8 pair of glasses. So these look like Ray-Bans. They're $8. They come in a nice little protective cover thing. They're really nice. I bought one and I was like, oh my God, this is, incredible. So I immediately bought two more, and I'm like, when I lose one, and I will, or break them or whatever happens, I have a replacement.
Yeah. See, that's the thing. Like this shirt, like if it gets ruined, whatever. Like obviously I don't want to go out and cut it up with scissors,
but it's $11.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's beautiful. That kind of thing is beautiful when you find something like that. This is kind of random, but I had written about Bluetooth headphones. I bought this little, I don't know how you say this, Aoki or Aoki, whatever, $25 set of Bluetooth headphones. It's the kind that, goes over your neck. It doesn't have like a bar. It just, they're not powered, but they're in ear. They have different tips. They have a little charging cable, $25. I had previously spent originally $280, I think it was, on a pair of really, high end kind of Bose noise canceling, blah, 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 with the neck piece battery thing. I was like, that's a little expensive. There was a $150 version. I bought those and I wrote about it. I sent them back. I still kind of want to figure out a way that I don't have to plug something into the USB port on my phone.
Yeah.
So this was recommended, I want to say maybe by the Wirecutter or something like the Wirecutter.
Mm-hmm.
They just arrived this morning. I've not worn them out in the world yet, but I've worn them and tested them, and $25. Nice. 25 is a lot less than 280.
Yeah.
It's a lot less.
Yeah.
It's not the same thing. I understand that, but I think they're gonna do the job. That's good stuff.
Yeah.
What else do we have? Money Matters today.
Well, this is sort of a Money Matters. I don't know. Paul, I had an epiphany this weekend that I don't know the difference between Miracle Whip and Mayo. I have no idea what the difference is.
Oh, that's troubling. So that's funny. This is a weird coincidence. We had a cookout thing over the weekend, and there were 2 bottles of mayonnaise sitting on the counter. So I walked up to. I'm a real big stickler for things like mayonnaise, for example. You don't buy like light mayonnaise, right? Like full fat mayonnaise is way healthier. You don't buy. Well, actually, we do buy, and I just talked to my wife about this. We buy like 2% milk. Actually, whole milk is a lot healthier for you. It tastes like heavy cream if you used to light milk or like a skim milk or whatever. So it's something you kind of have to get used to. But I only use milk and coffee anyway. I don't think milk is very good for you overall. But I had that conversation. So there's two mayonnaise jars sitting there, and I'm like, what the hell's going on here? One of them was Miracle Whip. So I held this thing up like it was radioactive waste in my kitchen, and I'm like, what is this? And she said,
these drugs.
Yeah, no, I'm like, what's this doing in my house? And she said, oh, I think the people from Sweden must have bought it. And I said, right. Why isn't it in the trash? And she said, somebody might want it. I don't care if somebody wants it. I don't want this. I want mayonnaise. Like, I don't understand why you would have something that was not quite, it's like, does anyone go to the Apple store? And it's like, I want something that's like an iPhone, but it was something different.
Yeah.
So, no.
See,
so did you find out what the difference is?
No, I don't. My only knowledge of this is that they're both white and not ranch.
That is true. That's true.
If there was a gun to my head and 2 little dishes of either one of these, and they said pick out the mayonnaise or you die, I would tell them just to shoot me because I wouldn't know.
Yeah, that's okay. That's not your fault, right? It is. It's like, depending on when you grew up and where and whatever, you could have ingested such things as like you get like a syrup for pancakes, right? Obviously, pancakes and syrup, no matter what they are really bad for you. But people like these things, and there are these syrups that are like pancake syrup. They're not made from maple syrup or whatever other kind of natural thing. They're like it's just a sugar. They're all just sugars really. But if you're not used to that real thing, it's not your fault. Like you just grew up that way. Like butter was like that. When I grew up, my parents always had like margarine, which is terrible for you. Or I can't believe it's not butter, which you can believe if you've ever actually tasted butter. And it wasn't until later in life when I actually had real butter, and I was like, what is this? This is almost like a mild cheese. It's really nice. Like the quality of the real thing is generally almost always apparent, even if you've never been exposed, even if you're not used to it growing up or whatever.
I accidentally just disconnected the lid of my Surface Book.
Sorry.
Well, I learned something new that you can I had no idea that you could double click the little icon and it would detach it.
Double click? I think you just single click.
Or maybe it's a single click.
Yeah.
No, it might be a double click. I don't know. Whatever. But you can do it via software now. Or still.
Well, you always could do that.
Yeah.
How long have you had this device? It's fair to say that most people probably never want or need to detach the top.
Back on other things. Paul, you know what's turning 10 years old today?
Yes, I do. I think. Is it the Chrome web browser?
It is.
Yeah.
I think it's safe to say it won. Or is winning.
Yeah, it did pretty good. Yeah, it was, Firefox kind of filled a hole there before that. And then I think briefly it seemed like maybe Apple was going to do it with Safari, but Chrome hit, and it was like, yeah, this is Yeah, this is it. And there was always this kind of feeling like Google, because Google only makes web apps,
Hmm.
they would opt. Well, they make mobile apps, obviously, but I mean
Yeah.
on the PC. That they would optimize their stuff for the browser and vice versa, and that this would be kind of a virtuous cycle kind of thing. And obviously, Google's a little smarter than that. I mean, it's just optimized for the web in general, and they've promoted web standards and so forth and all that. But yeah, I mean, Chrome is a singular success story for sure.
Yep. And then other things, well, today, I guess. So this guy is available, the Chrome. Wow, that's bad. The Xbox
Yep.
accessibility controller. You can now go out and buy that thing. And
Yep.
PUBG is also 1.0.
Yeah. So I haven't read your review yet, but it had an overly positive headline. So I'd like you to explain yourself, please.
So I got a little nervous because they said they were going to take the servers down for 16 hours and go to 1.0. And
Oh,
they have a
okay.
pretty bad history of just screwing things up with large updates like this, and they didn't let anybody test it or whatever. But
Right.
it came out, and for the most part, it's pretty good. They did a good job. The game is definitely, I tend to agree, it's not perfect, but anything at 1.0, even today, whatever, it still has bugs. Look at Windows 10 for that matter.
Yeah.
But it's definitely playable. I quite like it. I played for about 4 hours last night. New map
Hmm.
is great. It's tiny. It's very fast. Maybe even a little too fast, possibly for the game type. But
Well,
the annoying thing they did with this update is they introduced microtransactions, which everybody saw coming. But so far, they're only cosmetic stuff. So you can, in theory, just pay $30, never have to pay any more money, and just continue to play the game. That's pretty much the bucket I'm in. And
and
it's
that's how much it's $30.
yeah, which I think is a very good deal for that game,
Yeah. Yeah, I think so.
considering most AAA games like that are
You
still $60. The other interesting thing too, what I'm wondering is how long this is going to stay on the Xbox only. Because remember, they at the
right.
original announcements I think was for development cycle only or pre-release. It was Xbox only. I wonder if they've locked that up permanently or not. If it's going to show up on
Mm.
Mr. PlayStation.
Yeah, I mean, if they stick with Xbox only, that would indicate to me that there was some kind of an investment from Microsoft, so to speak.
Potentially, yep.
For that to make sense, because obviously, well, it's on mobile though, right? And it's on PC,
Hmm.
so it's just not on PlayStation 4. Well, that's viable.
Yeah.
You
So
know?
yeah, we'll see. And then for those of you who are trying to access Office 365 and you can't, they're having a fun little time today with not working. That's got a case of the Mondays. So
Yeah, it probably related to them rolling out what appears to be that UI change that they talked about a few months back.
if that's what took down Office,
Well, I mean,
that would be hilarious.
a UI change is and so I mean, you can't change the UI, and that's the whole app, really, right? I mean, what you're saying, it's a big part of it anyway, a web app. So yeah, Mehdi was bugging me to check, and you too, to check different
Mhm.
apps, and it was a little different across different browsers. But I got the new UI, which is the simplified ribbon on PowerPoint Online and Word Online, but not on OneNote Online, which is kind of odd because that's actually where this UI kind of debuted on OneNote for Windows 10, and not on Excel. And Excel may present its own challenges because of the complexity of the application. I don't know if that's a harder computer science problem. Although, to me, these look like the Office mobile apps, right? So it's that colored top with the small ribbon with the one toolbar underneath, and the tabs, the toolbar, and they have the mobile versions of PowerPoint, Excel, Word, etc. So I assume they'll get it there.
You got anything else for this happy fake Monday, Paul?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm going to write something about Edge. I have a couple of other things I'm kind of working on. This is one of those. Well, I had a doctor's appointment this morning, so I got kind of a late start. But usually by this point in the morning, I feel pretty good about things. And like right now, I'm just not where I want to be. So yeah, I have lots more to do for sure. How about you?
I'm going to write up this Office 365 stuff as a friendly reminder that when you use it, Microsoft controls your data and not you.
Wow.
It's true, though. There are a lot of people bitching this morning about how they couldn't get access to stuff on Office, and that's
And is it commercial versions or the
Yeah, no, it's
consumer?
commercial. Azure was down. The funny
Oh,
thing was the Office 365 status page was also down.
that is interesting. I only tested this on the consumer side, but it wouldn't surprise me
Yep.
if this was related.
So that is that. But I think that about wraps it up for today, folks. I hope you enjoyed that mayonnaise discussion, and we'll catch you right back here tomorrow.
Well, as a bit of homework, you can Google what is Miracle Whip.